everyone. I'm Jeanette Collins, and you're with Stampin' to Connect. And today I am doing another off the board card for you. And this is where I go into Pinterest and choose a card to case, which is copy and share everything. So today I've chosen the beautiful Nature's Beauty set. Um, I've just been playing with it. I love those little animals. Um, so, uh, the purpose of me doing this series is because we all enjoy Pinterest. And if you're like me, I go on Pinterest and I see all these beautiful cards and I pin, to and I save them, I guess, and save them to either, Stampin' Up, uh, like by season. And then I realized it's like, I need to start making these things. I'd like to, because that's how we learn. So that's the reason that I do this series, is to help you learn to case and to get those pins off the board. I mean, people make beautiful cards, so why not work with what they have and recreate, in some form or fashion. All right, today, like I said, I'm using Nature's Beauty and Evergreen Elegance. So if you will bear with me, I will turn you down. And by the way, if you're watching this on Facebook, please leave me a comment and say hello. Tell me where you're from. And if you're watching this on YouTube as a replay, please say hello and let me know what you think of the card. And if I can help you in any way, you can always contact me by email, which is stampjcollins@gmail.com. And I can help you in any way that I can. So here we go. I'm going to turn my camera down so you can see my desk, and we will start with the materials. Okay. Let's see. I always have to remember which one I'm using. And I want to make sure, that it's the higher definition. Oop, it didn't go down. Let me try that again. There we go, the webcam. Now you can see my desk, and I do have it at the higher definition. And let me show you what we're doing. Okay, like I said, this is a Pinterest pin, and I tried to pull it up on my computer so that you could see it directly, but I do have a copy here of this pin. This is a pin from Kay Kathoff. I guess that's how you say her name. Forgive me if I pronounced her name wrong. It's Kalthoff. And you can see her site is called Stamping to Share. So I thought that was kind of neat too, because I've named my site Stamping to Connect. So that's pretty cool that we have similar demonstrator business names. And this is her card with the deer. And you can see it's fairly simple. Now the green background is just, I guess, where she took her picture. The actual card is mostly in the white color. And then she has a frame, a greenish scenery frame around the deer. But what I thought was so interesting is that she has the trees running in the back. So today I'm going to use Evergreen Elegance to make those trees. And of course, my card will turn out differently, but I think you'll like it. But I just wanted you to see where I got the inspiration from. And like I said, if you are on live, please tell me hello and tell me where you're from, where you're watching from. Okay. Hi, Colleen. So glad to see you. I know I keep flipping my times differently because I have to be ready. Okay. And so let's get started with this. I want to show you what I'm using. I'm using the Nature's beauty set, and I'm going to use the deer today, and I'm using Evergreen Elegance, and I'm going to use, I think it's this tree right here that I'm going to place in the background. And then the last stamp, little stamp I'm going to use is from Whimsical Trees, and I just want to put joy on there because I didn't need a big sentiment for my design. And if you'll notice on hers, I'll show you her design again. It's got a frame. It's got the trees in the background, and you can't tell if it's lifted or not, but we're going to create something that looks close to this. All right. And also, let me tell you what else I'm using. I used, the first time around, I used this paper, and it's from Christmas Tidings out of the annual catalog, and I love that it had the little trees and a lot of the white background. I really like that too because I'm putting it on a white card base. So I'm going to show you a card I made that's with this particular paper. I went through and looked at all the different papers, and I wanted mostly a white background, just like the trees. So I could have chosen this pattern with the little bitty twigs and the little bit of red, because I want to stay with that green. And so I could have chosen that one. These are too dark, in my opinion. And then I didn't really want to do let's see, the other sides are all pretty much solid. So I wanted a mostly white background. So that's why I chose those trees the first time I made the card. But this time I'm using, well, let me just pull it for you. I'm using this paper. Okay, so it comes from that same set. Now you can see I've got my frame already masked out with my dies, and you can use any rectangular dies that you have, and you need to put two together on your cardstock where it leaves you, and this one in particular leaves about a 1/2 inch space all the way around where my frame is going to be. Okay, so if I had to, oops, I think this is, let me see, I have some measurements here for you. Yeah, okay, I'm going, instead of using this centerpiece, I'm going to be using the soft succulent cardstock, and this cuts out to be a 3x4. You can see, and actually it's going to fit perfectly in there. And then the larger frame, it will be that pattern paper. I will need a basic panel that's 4.5 by 5.5. So this will cover the entire card base, and that's what I'm going to be putting my frame on. And then lastly is my white card base, which is an A2 size card base, which ends up, after you fold it in half, is 4.5 by 4.25 by 5.5, and then a scratch piece of paper for my deer. So what I want to do first of all, since I have this out, is go ahead and run this through my machine. I just wanted you to see how I taped it on. So when you place it on, what I did is I lined it up with my grid here, my grid paper, and I looked at my little, these are 1/4 inch squares. So I looked for where it would leave me a 1/2 inch here. So the 2 squares there. And also, well, it's harder to see on that side. And then here you can tell it's like a 1/2 inch on the bottom. So you just line them up with the little lines, line it up with the little lines the best you can. And then you cut it. So like I said, the most important thing is when you put your 2 dies down is that you got a 1/2 inch space all the way around. It really doesn't matter on the outside unless you're wanting to save it. Okay, I'm going to move over just a bit to run this through my die machine, and then we'll see the result. I'll take that a second. And I also like to, oh, by the way, when you run your die through your machine, when you have a straight edge like this, it's going to make the die machine pop. So it's always best to turn it just a bit like this. And then when it goes through, it won't have that popping sound. Okay, here we go. Get it all in there. And I'm cranking it through. And no popping this time, see? That's great. If I can just grab it now. Okay, now let's see the results of my cranking it through. I'll take this washi tape off. See how I did it. And you know, as a matter of fact, when I was putting these little dies down, what I did is I started the big one like that and then pull down my tape after I had the inner one straight. So now we can pull them all off. Hope you're having a good Friday. I love doing this series because, you know, I do pin a lot of pins. And then I go back through and I'm like, oh yeah, I like that one too. Oh yeah. But you know, we can find so many. But unless you make something with them, it's like, what am I doing? Why am I doing that? Okay, so I'm going to put my dies aside. And like I said, you can use your stitch rectangle dies. And here is my beautiful frame, just like that. And I can use this piece for something else, like for another card. So I'm going to put that aside. And like I said, I want to use my layer card that I'm first going to, and this is again, just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, that I'm going to be putting my frame on. And I'm going to be putting my 3 by 4 card, gluing that underneath this. So this is what it's going to look like. Now my deer is going to end up over here, and I am going to stamp just a little bit on this as well. So let me get my ink, because the first thing we need to do with this white panel is stamp my evergreen trees. And I'm going to stamp kind of in this area in this way. They really don't need to meet because you won't be seeing it anyway. And I'm going to be using my evergreen, evening evergreen. Okay. All right. Let's see. I can't remember. Let's see. I think I did just use this size. Let me get my block. This is from Evening Evergreen, Evergreen Elegance. I'm going to stamp this up, and I'm going to go full strength on the edge, and I'm leaving about a 1/2 inch on the bottom. I don't know why, but that's just what I did. So actually, I'm almost going halfway off with this stamp, with this very first one. So it's there. So you've made my tree halfway off. And then I'm going to do the other side the same way. There. Now my next tree, I am going to stamp off to get a different color. So stamp off. And I'm going a little bit higher. There. So it makes a variation in color, which I love. And again, over here, making it symmetrical. Okay, I've got it. And I'm going to do another one, but kind of covering. I know you won't see these, but that's how I wanted to do it, where it's, okay, I stamped off again, and I'm going to go right over it again, right there, and stamp off again, and go right there. Yeah. I don't know. Don't really need to do all that, but I like it. It's fun stamping. Okay, so this is ready for my frame and my base. Okay. Look. Okay, so now I'm going to glue this on together. Now, actually what I did, since I'm using a different cardstock, this is 3x4, and this frame is actually a little smaller. Let me show you. I know I pulled it off. Let me show you the difference. See that? So it's almost a 1/4 inch difference on each side. So it is smaller. So remember that I'm not using the exact same size. I got one that's a little bigger so I can glue it to the back. And that's what I'm going to do. So let me get my glue. I'm going to get one that's fairly full. Come on. I thought I was going to be able to come on at 10:30 every Friday. I think I'm going to have to change it back because I am just not an early bird, and I love football. I love baseball. And when you are a girl who stays up to the very end of the football game, guess what? Can't get up very early then. I stayed up and I like watching. Oh dear, shoot. Okay. What I did here is I got glue. Look at my mistake. Look at that. I have glue all over it. So I'm going to wipe this off and turn it over and try again. And I know what I should do. I'm wiping the glue off. See, isn't it good to see somebody make a boo-boo? Okay, this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my edges here. And I'm just going to stay close to the edge. This way I won't get glue all over the front of the card where I'm going to need to put my deer. Okay. And you know, I thought of something else I should have done. I'm going to, before I do that gluing, I've got to put some trees on this thing. I put them on this card, but now I want to put some across this way too. And it's the same thing. I'm just stamping up the same stamp, and I'm going to put it there and there and stamp off. I'm going to put one lower there and there. One taller in the middle. So it looks like I have a little forest on this too. I'm going to go off the card a lot right there. Okay, see, I have a little forest here also because my deer needs to be in front of something. Now I can put my frame on. I have to do it this way so I can see where the glue is. Now, that's framed out, and that looks pretty. I've got sticky on the bottom, but that's okay. All right, and then this is going to go here, but I want to pop it up. Isn't that pretty already? It's just so simple. Wait, let me do this. I know I'm going to want to put my joy. Let me stamp my joy also. Oh, I'm fumbling. Let me get my little joy out. And I'm using all rubber stamps, which are beautiful. Okay. So when I stamp my joy, oh, I made a mess there. I'm going to stamp it here first to see how to hold my block. Okay, I got to keep turning it. That's better. There, that's better. Okay, so now I'm going to put this one right. I'm so nervous about doing it. And it's because I don't have the little sticker on the back. It's going to go right here in this upper right corner. There it is. Okay, yay. Okay, got those two done. And now I can put my ink away. And then it's a matter of putting the card together. Let's put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back. Let's see what I have here. Oh, those are the little bitty ones. I want to use the larger rectangles, so I'm going to put them pretty heavy on here. Another thing you can do is, and I've done this a lot, is take another piece of cardstock and have it measure the exact dimensions of the frame, all the, the width of this whole thing, and put another piece there and then add your dimensionals. And it really gives it a lot of body. It feels nice. And I have another secret. One of the other things I've done before, just instead of using all these little dimensionals, is I use the craft foam. It's got sticky on one side of the craft foam, and it's just plain on the other. I buy that from Walmart or Joann's, or Joann's, Michael's. And you can put the whole sheet of that on here, and then you won't use as many of these, and that works nicely too. But since I moved back to Texas, I don't know where all those sheets are, because I was using those mostly for my scrapbooking, and so anyhow I couldn't find them, so I'm having to use all these little dimensionals, which is okay. And I know a lot of people buy that thick, not thick and high thick, but those rolls of tape that is, it's dimensional also. I can't even think of what brand it is, but I've seen them, and they'll put those big strips, just 3 big strips down, and that works too. Okay, so here we have, what I wanted to do was to clear this off so you won't see my trees sitting behind. Move this off for a second. Now I can put this back here. Okay, that's cleaner. And now what I'm going to do is place this in the center. Just looking at my grid, trying to get it as centered as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect. See, if I had that other kind of craft stuff, it would hold those ends up better too. But I love that so far. Now we have to get the deer on there. Okay. And actually, we're going to put this on the card, so I can glue this to the card already, like so. I might as well do that real fast. Okay, make sure it's straight on. And just hold it down, press it on. There we go. And now for the deer. Let's get that deer done. Okay, I need my scratch paper and my deer, which is from Nature's Beauty. So let me grab him. He's so pretty. There he is. And I need a block. Actually, a little larger block. So here, I like to turn my blocks at an angle. It just feels better in my hand. And I also need, I'm using cinnamon cider this time for my deer, and I will stamp him off. Okay, gotta keep working him. Come on, cinnamon cider. I don't want him to be too dark, but I want him to be stamped up well. So you can see I've got pretty good stamping there. I'm going to stamp off and just put him anywhere on my cards, because I'm going to just use this as scratch paper. And there he is. He's beautiful. So I like that he's a little lighter there. And I'm going to need to get my sharp little scissors and cut him out real fast. I don't have the dice set, and I don't mind fussy cutting. Just go around pretty fast and easily. Hopefully I'm in camera where you can see that I'm doing this. The trick to fussy cutting is moving your scissors, and actually you're moving the paper more than you are the scissors, but as you close your scissors, you turn your paper, and then that is a lot easier than if you're trying to make a snip at a time. It will make a smoother effect. So here I opened my scissors, and now I opened again, and I'm going to keep turning. Whoops, I went a little far into his head, but that's okay. I backed off. He's fine. I'm going around. You know, an image like this is not hard to cut. You want to try to stay on the outside of the line, but see, I don't want to, I open my scissors again. I don't want to cut my line off because I need his outline. So here we go. I think here I'm opening again, moving my paper. There we go. And I can just go down. I don't need that little design at the bottom of his hooves. Just kind of cut around this and get his hooves in there. I don't think his hooves are going to show, but there he is. So now what I want to do is get my Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of him. Put 1, 2. I want him to be really secure, so I'm putting a lot of these dimensionals on there. 3. I don't know if I can pick a 4th one. Maybe I move this one up just a bit. It's okay if they're touching there. One more, the bottom there. And for his head, I need little bitty ones. These are the tiny Stampin' Dimensionals from Stampin' Up. Get those to go on his head. Oh, I got 2 together. Yay! See? And I'm not going to put any on his ears. That's too tedious for me. Okay, I'm going to so enjoy your stitched frames if you have those, the rectangular frames. You can make a lot of these frames and from different, you know, make them different sizes. Okay, I'm going to put my deer right here. So he's kind of got his back side kind of falling off, and it's like he's almost stepped out of the frame. And then lastly, what I thought I would do, since this is the Christmas tidings paper and it's got that little red berry in it, I thought I would use these red rhinestone basic jewels. And I want to show you this. I have these also, the holiday rhinestone basic jewels, and these actually are like a medium size, and then they have the little larger ones, but they're all different colors. So it's a nice set to have, holiday rhinestone basic jewels. But when I open my packs, I don't open them from the back. I cut this side off like this. So if you don't do this, you might want to change your habit, because then all you can have to do is pull. What I do is I pull this whole card out. If I can get my thumb in here. Oh, good gravy. There. I pulled it out like this, and so it's easy for me to get whatever color I need, and then I can just slide it back in to store it, and I don't have to worry about, you know, trying to close it. So this one's already done that way. I do all my gems this way. Now you can see I've got those ready. So I'll get my little poke tool and grab a couple of these. I'm going to put it around the joy. Two, one more. I love these because they're so bright. There, I think 3 is plenty. And now you can just stamp whatever sentiment you want in the middle. So that's what this one looks like. But I love the way the trees, you know, kind of look like they're behind like a big forest of trees, and this deer is stepping out of the card. So yes, you can stamp whatever type of greeting you want on the inside for Christmas. I want to show you the other one I made that was with the little tree paper. I think that's so cute too. Look at that. And I use the clear, what are they called? Just the basic rhinestone jewels. And I used For a True Friend because I figured, well, this doesn't have to be a Christmas card. I can just send it anytime. But I have my trees in the background, trees in the center here. And it's simple. The frame is so pretty. And as you can see this one I propped up a little bit more. I think I put a full piece of an extra piece of cardstock underneath just to kind of beef up that panel. But they turned out really pretty. So I thank you for being here. Remember, you can always catch me on Fridays doing an off the boards pin. And I want to again thank Kay for her inspiration with her card. There it is with the frame. And I look forward to doing one again next Friday. That is, if we will be back in town. So I will keep you posted on that. Let me pull you back up. So thank you again for being here, and get those pins off your board and make some beautiful cards. And remember, connect with the people you love by sending those cards. Okay, I'll see you next Tuesday or next Friday. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you again. Bye. And end.